All right. So this is the lab. We are to automate our infrastructure deployment using cloud formation. And there is also another aspect called CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous development, or continuous deployment, right?
Should be deployment.
Okay. All right. So we'll do a CI/CD thing, right? So the CI/CD just means that, okay, once you continue to integrate or work on your infrastructure, like any changes that you do should be also like be taken into effect. So you are just automating that thing, right? Okay, so the whole cheat code thing is this. I, together with a fellow learner, we have tried to extract the templates that we used, right, to work on the lab. So this is it. So the first one, the second one, the network, and then the third one, that is the cafe app. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to explain how to use it, and then I'll make the template available to everyone so that as you use it, you get to understand. Okay. This lab, if you are going through it one after the other, it can even take you more than the 3 hours. Right. I said 1 hour, 30 minutes. That is the stipulated time. But you can even elapse the 3 hours and then still not finish, especially if you have difficulties along the way. So this is someone's logins. Mine, they have decided not to bring it. All right, so we have started the lab. All right, so the first thing is to create a static website for the cafe by using the cloud, CloudFormation, right? And then these are the instructions. So because the template is there already, we'll just go over it and then I'll show you the template usage. All right. So first, we should have created a new file, right? And let me open the Cloud9 environment. Oh shoot! I shouldn't have closed this.
You can do Control Alt T, Control Shift T rather.
Okay. I think I have it. I have it again, so that's fine. Reload. Okay, so I'm opening the Cloud9 environment. This network should be able. Okay, good. All right. Let me close this. Yeah, so on a normal, we're supposed to click on file and then create a new file, right? And we'll save it. We save it as s3.yaml. Okay. But we are not going to do that. Since I have the file already here, what I'm going to do is I'll go to file and then I'll upload local file. Now this is possible because the lab doesn't mark all these things, right? The lab is just marking the resources that you create. So S3, you have enabled static hosting and then what have you. Okay, so I'll select files and downloads this S3 YAML. So you can see this one is here, right? Let me close this. This is what we need for now. And I like to place my windows side by side this way. So this is a template. So you per the instructions, this thing too. Per the instructions, we were to copy this, right? Here. What is stop here? We're to copy the template format version and then the description. And for resources, we only had these 2 lines of code. Right, we only had these 2 lines of code, and this will create an S3 bucket, right? From up to here, up to the S3 bucket. The deletion policy and then all those things is not part. So these 2 lines of code plus the format should be enough to create an S3 bucket. Okay. So that is it for this, and then this, right? So this should create the S3 bucket for us, and then we'll edit the template description. We'll edit the template description and then give it Cafe S3 template, and this is what we also have here. Okay. Now we can now go. We could have just gone ahead and then run this commands, right? These two lines of code. So first to get the region, and then the next is to create the stack. But we are not going to do that because there are other things that we have to do for S3. Okay, so if you had run it, this is what it's going to do, right? It will trigger a template to the CloudFormation, and then the CloudFormation will create the S3 bucket. It will use the stack to create the S3 bucket. Now, further, we're supposed to answer some questions, so we'll answer them when we finish, right? So the S3 bucket that was created, the name, the region that it was created in, and then as well as it asks that to define the S3 bucket, how many lines of code did we create? And that was just 2 after the resources, right? How many lines of code do you need to enter in the resources section of the template file? So this is the resources section. And then we just had to enter 2 lines of code. That's for the first creation, right? Now we had to configure the S3 bucket as a website and then update the stack as well. So this command, we are going to enter this command after we have pushed our stack. So it's just like you using the management console to create an S3 bucket. Okay. And then later you go ahead and then change some settings that you want to do, like enabling public access to the bucket, enabling public access to the objects, setting bucket ownership. All those things can be done after you create your bucket or before you create your bucket. Okay. And enabling static web hosting as well. So we'll also do this later. So here, this is where the deletion policy comes in. So we attach a deletion policy that will retain the bucket. So if you look at the Cloud9 environment, this is a deletion policy. So it's just deletion policy retain. Okay. And then the next is to configure the bucket to host a static website with index.html as the index document. So let me open the documentation, right? It is in the documentation, but this is it. So we have to add the property line, and then now the website configuration is what? The index document is index.html. Okay. And yeah, so we also add an output that provides the website URL. And this is what we have here. So the output session is this whole lines of code, right? So the output, the logical ID. So this is the resource name, the website URL, and then the value is what? Get ATT. So it will get the buckets URL, and then the value is S3 buckets website URL. So the output is the output, the names that it will give. We will look at it in the CloudFormation stack, and then this is just a description. Okay. So let's start from here, deletion policy. So this documentation will give you a list of services that we can use on CloudFormation. So I'll scroll down to S3 and S3 bucket. If I should do find deletion policy, okay, this is the JSON code and this is the YAML. So we can see this is a deletion policy. So this is just what I just copied. Okay, this is just what I copied and then pasted it here. And the next thing was to website. So website hosting. So that one I also do website. And then this is this is JSON. Right. So this is a YAML, right? So this is a website configuration. So I just copied just here. The error.html is optional. And then this also for the output session. So for the output session, all this was copied. Okay, so this gives us a complete template. So I think after here, that is done. So validate your template. Yeah, so we have to validate the template and then update the stack by running this command. So here we will not run the update because we have not pushed the stack, right? So when you are going through the lab and then you have the template, you will not run this update, right? Because you have not even created the stack yet. Okay, so from here we'll verify the success of the bucket. Okay, so now we can go ahead and then do. Now, so let's go back. So we can run the validation thing, right? So let me just copy this and then validate to see if this template is correct, right? So I'll just paste this thing here, and then the file name is s3.yaml. I'll press enter. It should give me a JSON kind of format of code, right? So see, you can see that. So this is correct. If there was an error with the template, it will tell me that there is a template error. Okay, so I'll go ahead and then create the stack. So I'll come to this. Where is it? All right, this. So first, this is to just get the region that we are in, just to confirm the region that we are in. So this is US East 1, and I'll copy this entire command, paste it in the terminal, and so AWS CloudFormation create stack. The stack name is create bucket. So let's take note of this. The stack name is what? Create bucket, right? And then it will use the template body. That is the file.s3.yaml, this one. So sometimes when you run and then you get an error, check the name of the YAML file. If you validated your template and then your template was correct, then check the YAML file. Make sure that the name is a capital S and then 3. Right, so this is created. If we should go to CloudFormation, let me open CloudFormation. I don't have CloudFormation here. So this one cuts this from the S3 downwards can even take you up to 10 to 15 minutes, right? But if you understand this template, I mean, you just go ahead and then push it. The next thing is to come and run these commands and then you are okay. Right? I want CloudFormation to open. So whilst it's open, let me open S3 as well. So we should have a stack being created. So this is CloudFormation. So we should have the stack being created. Right? And the network is very fast. Okay, so we can make use of this one. So you can see we have the buckets that we created here, and this bucket has what? The stack name, the logical ID, that is the S3, and then some random numbers. Please keep this one in mind. We will need it when we are answering the multiple choice questions. The stack name, the logical ID, and then some random numbers. If we go to this thing too. I just wanted us to check some of the things on there. All right, so this one is complete. If we should look at the details, if you look at the event, these are the things that it's created. If you go to resources, it's created an S3 bucket. So this, you can see this is the same name we saw in the S3, right? And then the output is a website URL, but currently we don't have anything in it, right? So we'll now come back and then run these commands to populate our bucket with whatever it needs to be populated with. Richard, you are drawing on my screen. So copy all this. So this wget will download the website files, right, from this URL. Oh, Richard, you are drawing on my screen. Oh.
I beg, you know be me. I beg, you know be.
You know the Richard Anachi.
Well, you baby Richard.
So this is the command. I paste that, so it's downloading. I'll go back and then unzip the download file, right? So this command will unzip. So that is unzip static website.zip. This is it. File now I download DNN. You can see it's highlighted here. The same thing here. So that's just the URL. All right, so that's downloaded. And then now I'll change directory into the static folder. Okay. And now the next thing is to set ownership controls to the bucket. And then the ownership is a bucket owner. So bucket ownership. You remember when you are creating a bucket, there is something called is it no ACLs enabled and then ACS enabled. Now, if you enable ACLs, you are able to choose between bucket owner and then object owner. Now, what this means is that I can be the owner of a bucket, right? And then if I enable object owner, it means that anybody who uploads an object, right? Any person using another AWS account who uploads an object into the bucket still owns that file, right? Still owns that file. That is object owner. But if I do bucket owner, it means that regardless of whoever uploads it, the object becomes mine. I am the one who is able to make changes to that object or do any deletion. Like this. So I will just copy that and paste it in the terminal. Oh shoot, I forgot one thing. All right, so you can see there is what bucket's name here. All right, this bucket's name. So I will need to. So I'll now come to my VS Code. I'll paste this thing here, right? I'll edit it, and then go to S3. Get the name of the bucket. I forgot this. Copy that. Don't mind me, you don't need VS Code to do this, okay? You can just, in the terminal, you can just do the same thing. Just that I don't want to be pressing the keyboard to come back and then come and clean whatever it is. So you can see bucket's name, no such file directory. So I'll paste this. Now that I've copied the bucket's name and I'll press enter. I shouldn't have any error now, correct? And I'll now set public access, right? The public access block settings, Messisano. So you can see here, block public access, it should be false. So it means you are unchecking that box, and then restrict public buckets, that is also false. And then ignore public ACLs, that's also false. And then block public policy, that's also false. So all this, copy that. I'll put it into my text editor. Paste it here. I can even use a text editor on the what's it called? On the Cloud9 environment. Okay, so I'll copy this, replace the bucket's name. And then now copy the entire thing. Bring it here. Paste that and then press enter. Okay, no problems. And the last thing, I will now copy the website files into the S3 bucket. Okay, so just as I said, let us use the text editor in the Cloud9 environment so that it won't be that he's using VS Code. That is why his is working, right? And let me go and copy the bucket's name again. This one is even easier instead of switching windows, right? I'll copy this. So what I'm saying is that now copy. So I'm doing a recursive copy, right? So it means that the dot, you see there is a dot here. Let me zoom in so that you see. There is a dot here. This dot is telling the command line that there is the current directory, and then we are doing a recursive copy. Now, a recursive copy means that if there are subfolders, right, any subfolders in the directory that we are in, those ones should also be copied as well. Okay, so if you look at the static folder, there are subfolders. There is a CSS, there is an image, and there is an index.html. When you open the images, there are image files there. When you open the CSS too, there is a CSS file in there. Okay, so now I paste this, press enter, and you can see the files. You see all the files are being copied. Now, if I go to my S3 bucket and then open, I should see those files here. Okay, so now we are done. So it means that if you have this template and then you understand it, immediately you upload it, you just create the stack, right? You skip all these come and copy all these commands and then write them, and you are done. The next thing is to just go to the output of the CloudFormation and then open the object URL, the output, that's the URL, right? This is the URL to the cafe, and then you can see the cafe website, and then your cafe website is open. So under 5 minutes, you should be able to do this instead of the usual 10 to 15 minutes that it can take you. Okay. When we are done, we'll come and answer all the questions here. So let's skip the questions now. So now we are done with the websites. The website is done. So we want to now go further and then create the dynamic website, right? But first we have to create a network. So you can see all these are all part of the S3 part, right? We want to create a dynamic website, but first we have to create a network environment. And here we are going to use the CI/CD thing. So according to the business requirements, a CI/CD pipeline has been created for us. So when we talk of a CI/CD, you are just using some version control system. And in AWS, they use code. There is code commit, there is code pipeline. Okay. So I think there is a drawing here. Let's look at the drawing first, and then I'll go back. So this is how it looks like. Okay. Right, this is how it looks like. So you have a code pipeline that takes its source from the code commit repository. So anytime you do a git push of any YAML file into the code commit, the pipeline is able to take the template and then use it to deploy a stack, right? So here we are going to create the network stack. So it will create the network stack here. All right. Now let me go back to the instructions. Where is it? Okay, so we'll start from here. So first we have to clone the code commit repository, right? So I'll go to the code commit. Please, so if you don't understand anything, as I said, just prompt me, right, before I move on. So code commit is just a repo, right, for codes, right? So this repo is already there. So we are going to clone it. If you open, there's a template in there. So there's a template folder, and there are templates in there. So you can see this stats lab. This stats lab is what was used to this stats lab YAML was what was used to provision our the resources that we are using, including the EC2 instance and then the Cloud9 environment that is on the EC2 instance. It's in here. I'm not going to open it. All right, so let's just go back. But it's in here. Somebody will say, trust me, it's in here. So when you are doing your labs, you can just open them and then appreciate all of them. Let me go back to repos. And what we need is the HTTPS URL, right? So I'll copy this. I'm skipping a lot of things, right? So that because when you are going through the lab, you can read all of them. But we need to clone it because we want to use that. What's it called? We need to use that repo. So because that is what the code pipeline used to automate these processes. So instead of us doing just like what we did for the S3 buckets, we create the YAML document and then we'll run another command to create the stack. This time I'm not going to do that. All we need to do is to create the template and then push it to the code commit repo, and the pipeline will just automate that process for us in creating the stack for us. Okay. So yes, so we are supposed to do this. We investigate the something. Okay. So now we have to sorry. So now we have to clone the repo. So I've already copied the URL, but what I would do is I need to come back to the environment itself because I'm in the static folder, right? So I'll do a cd ... to come back. Maybe I enter and go, right? So a cd dot dot to come back to the environment, and then now I'll do git clone and the URL of the code commit repo. I press enter, it will now create a copy, right, of the repo. This one, CF template, right, CloudFormation template. We can see the same thing here. So now I'll cd into the CF template. And then now to templates. Okay, so we are in here. Okay, so normally per the instructions, we're supposed to duplicate this, right? We're supposed to duplicate this and rename it to lab network, blah blah blah. But once again, since I have my template already there, I'll upload local files, select file, and cafe network YAML about her and so I'll just drag it into the template folder. Okay. Fail to rename it. No problem. Okay. So I'll just create a copy. If I cannot move it, then I'll just create a copy. Right. Okay, so this is it here. Let me delete this. Okay. So this is also the network template. So it's under resources, it's supposed to create 7 resources. So that's the VPC, the internet gateway, the VPC to internet gateway connection, the public route table, and then creating the route, creating a subnet, and then the route to the route table association to the subnet, and then the output, right? So these are 7 resources. So this one there, okay, no. So this one doesn't come with the output. We later add the output, right? According to the instructions here. See the business requirements. Yes, so all this, we are able to skip all this, right? Correct. So after we do updates to the template, so normally if without here, so without the output, right? It comes without the output. We should do our normal git add, git status to see which file to push or commit, right? And then we'll now do our git add, our git m, and then git status again, and then we'll do a git push. Okay, but I will not do that. We'll look at what we have to do next to complete the so you can see here the output, right? This one that is supposed to be added. Okay, so you would have just copied it and then added it, but as I said, the template is already there, and then it will create this output. This output is going to be used by the Cafe app. That is the EC2 instance that is going to run the Cafe website or the Cafe app. No, so this output will be needed. So that Cafe app YAML will also reference these outputs. Okay, and then that will be it. So since that is also done, so you can say when we are done, we'll do our git add and then our commits, blah blah blah. Okay, so since the template is already there, so usually because I'm explaining, that's why it's taking this long. But if you have it and then you understand it, all you need to do is put the template there and then you do your git add and then you are good to go. So here, since I have completed everything, all I need to do is to do. So first, you can just confirm that if there is any changes within the file, git status, and you can see this. So this is the new file. I'll do a git add template. That's what cafe network. Oof. My network has stopped. Brave. Oh. Okay, I think it's back now. Oh, I'm already in the template. Asemo. So cafe, yes, network.yaml, and then I'll do a git commit m, and it says we should do initial commit. Where is it? Right, there's a comment, initial commit of network template. So you can just add this one. It actually doesn't mark the message anyway. So your commit message, you put it in 2 single quotes. Okay. And then you add the name of the file again. So git commit m and then the name of the file. So if you should do git status again, nothing to commit, right? So we have committed the file, but the last thing is to do a git push. So validating. Great. So we have pushed the network file. Now let's go to, did I open code pipeline? Okay, so let me go to code pipeline. Should have opened it earlier so that we'll be able to appreciate it. All right. Should have used Mozilla for this. So in code pipeline, there are 2 pipelines, the network pipeline. So that's the Cafe network pipeline and then the Cafe app pipeline. So unfortunately, this one has succeeded already. That is what I wanted us to see earlier. So normally when you open, you can see here, the deploy will always be failed, right? Because the source that is reading from wasn't available. But since we pushed it, it was available. So let's go and look at because the next thing is to look at the app pipelines. Okay. I just opened this right now. So after here, you can go and see, you can open VPC to see, you will see the VPC created, you will see the subnet also created, right? With these tags. So the VPC will have Cafe VPC, the internet gateway will have Cafe IGW, and what again? The public route table will have Cafe public route table, and then what have you, okay? So let's look at the Cafe app pipeline. So as I said, this one takes, right, the source is the AWS commit, right, code commit, and then the deploy takes the source from the code commit repository and then use it. So if you look at the info here, you can see the template part is currently what? Cafe app.yaml, right? And then currently we have not added that one yet. And then the stack name is also update cafe app. So if you are looked at the Cafe network pipeline, we should see the stack name to be update then Cafe network, and then the path should be cafe app.yaml. All right. And this one is continuous. So this is automated. You don't have to come here, but in case your network is failing or it doesn't, you can just click here. So you can click the retry to retry it, or you can also do the release change, right, to retry it. Okay. So the next thing is to now bring in our app, right? This is the instruction. Where is it? So you can see we are almost done. So define an EC2 instance resource. I'm creating the application stack, right? So we're supposed to duplicate the template to file and then rename it as cafe app.yaml. So, and also I have my template already. So I'm done with the S3. I'm done with the network. So I'll bring in the template and Cafe app. Correct. I mean, probably the other one, it was not done uploading. Okay, and then now let me move it to template and see. Okay, this one worked. Okay, so let me open it. So this is the template 2, right? So the template 2 started with this. Okay, so the resource was just the Cafe SG, right? And then the VPC ID was to import the value of. So if you remember, for the network stack, that output that was there. Okay, and you can see the reference here. The security group was also the same thing. And now the security group is opening ports 80 and then 22 for SSH and then HTTP traffic. And also this YAML file already specifies the outputs. That is the Cafe instance public IP. So this is the template 2, what it had. Now, after the instructions, we will add an instance parameter. We'll look at where to get all these, right? So that you get to understand where these are coming from. So the instance parameter, and this one should prompt you to select between T2 micro, T2 small, T3 micro, and then T3 small. By the default is T2 small. So that is if you don't specify, right? And there is also key. The key is given 2 options. If the resource is deployed in the US East 1, you should use the VOC key. And then if it is deployed in the US West 2, then you should use the Cafe Oregon. This key doesn't exist now. When we switch to the second region, that is the Oregon region, we'll create this key, right? And then now we had to specify resources. The Cafe SG was there already. What we needed to add was the Cafe instance. So under resources, you have the logical ID, the type, that is EC2 instance. The image ID is referencing the latest image ID here, right? So this one has been specified here. Okay, so it will reference. So this afternoon, some people were having problems with this reference thing. So this is how it is. So you do the exclamation ref and then the latest AMID. The instance type is also referencing the instance type parameter, right? What I explained just now here. And the key name is also referencing what has been done here. Okay, so it says what? Find in map, the region map, and then reference AWS region, and then the key pair. The IAM instance is the Cafe row. All right. And there's also a user data. This user data will copy it from the canvas. Okay. So where is it? So yes, this is what we have looked at on the first template. Right. So here we're supposed to use this documentation. So yes, I'll go ahead and then open the documentation so that we get to know where we had it, right? Because usually I just wanted us to come here and then come and add, and then we'll go. But since some people might not go back and then go and do it well, I have to just explain so that, all right, so let me go to the YAML. Okay, I'll search, right? So if you are specifying resources, right, this is what you do. So the resources, right, and then on the Cloud9 template, the resources has already been specified here, right? So under the resource section, then you have the logical ID. So the logical ID in here we're told is what? Cafe instance. You understand? So here was it. So the logical ID comes here. You don't specify logical ID like this and then you input the name like some Cafe instance or something, right? Or I think the other error the Cadman was facing was he puts EC2 instance here, all right, and then the Cafe instance was rather here. So it's just the logical ID is just the resource, right? Here, and then the type where you put the resource type. So you can see from here where is EC2, right? So the logical ID, the type, that's the resource type. So AWS EC2 instance, and then now comes the properties. And you can see here, it says properties is a set of properties. So it means that any property that you want to specify should come under properties. So including the image ID, instance type, key name, all that. All right, so here, so after logical ID, it says the image ID that reference the latest AMI ID parameter. So that one, we can also come to the second reference that was given to us. You can do find image, and then you can see all of them here. So you can see IAM instance profile, image ID, instance type, key name, in fact, everything that you need here. So these are all listed under properties, right? So you can see properties. So all these are parameters or a list of properties that you can put under properties. So that one is also done here, right? And for key name, we're giving this one to copy and then paste. So that was just copied and then pasted. Where is it? Here, right? The rest instance profile, all these instance profile, and then in the properties, we added the network interface. So also pay attention to the indentation, okay? Pay attention to the indentation. So from here to here is 2 indentations, the same thing with properties, but under properties, these are 4 indentations, right? 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. And then when it comes here, this is 1, 2, 3, yes, 4. So from here, 4. So depend on where you want it to be. So the indentation is always 2, 2, 2, right? So if it's just 2 lines, then it's 2, 1, and then 2, right? And then if there is a third one, then it goes 4 indentations. So if there is a 4th one that comes under the third line, then it should also go 6 indentations like that. Right? Tina won't say line. We're also giving the user data to add, right? So this user data was also added here to the updated file as well. So here we are started. That was that it. I just want to be sure that we are finished with the EC2 bit. Okay. All right. So after that, we're okay. And we need to validate it. So after you are save, where's the validation command? So after you are satisfied with your template updates, save changes to validate. Okay, yes, run the following command, correct. So CloudFormation validate. Copy this. And then some of you might forget, right? You might not switch directories before you. Right, some of you might not switch directory before you clone the repo. So you might find yourself you might find the repo still in the static folder here, right? So what you can do is when you paste this command and then you are still in the static folder, what you need to do is to add what? Slash here, this section of the code, right? You have to add slash static slash CF template before you enter. If not, it will still give you a template error because it will not find that file, right? So we are validating a cafe, enter. It should give us that JSON. So we are also good to go. Okay. So once this is okay, I will do get status. So we need to, this is the file that has been, the new changes that has been done, right? So I'll do get add cafe app, get commit m o cafe app. The message there, you can put any message that you want, right? But you can't forget to cafe app. Then now you do a get push. Great, that is also done. So let's go back to the code pipeline. Correct. So let's give it a time. Well, let's give it some time. You see that it will just automatic. So you can see the last changes was 12 minutes ago. So it will automatically start up and then you will see it to be in progress, right? We can also go and check the CloudFormation. And then after here, we'll go and check the CloudFormation and you see that a new stack has been added. Okay, since it is not, so you can see I didn't press anything. I didn't press retry or nothing. It just came. Now, whilst this is happening, if you go back to CloudFormation, we should see a stack added. So you can see a new stack will be added, and that will be update cafe app. This is this stack. No output yet. Let me go to the events, and we should see some events of happening. So the cafe SG is complete. So some stuff are being created. Now let's go ahead. Whilst they are being created, let's go ahead and then continue with our other things, right? So this one we just investigate some part of the stack to verify. We'll also answer some questions. We'll come and answer the questions later. So now the next thing is that now the whole thing of using infrastructure as code is now if we were supposed to go to another region, then it means that the network layer, the application layer should have been created manually. That is creating the VPC, the subnet. I mean, when we are doing the lab on creating a networking environment, you know how it was. You create this, you link this, you create that, you link that. Right. But now, since we have our application as code or our infrastructure as code, we just have to duplicate it to another region. Right. So all we need to do is to copy the YAML templates that we have into another region. Okay. So per the instructions, so first we have to duplicate the Cafe Network website to another AWS region, and then we only need to run this this command. So we use the AWS CloudFormation service to create a stack. The stack name is update Cafe Network, just like before, right? And then it will use the Cafe Network.yaml, right? So whatever is happening in this lab shouldn't finish because the template is always ready. And then whatever is happening in one region is not affecting the other in the other region, right? So I can just paste this one also here. And then if we should switch to, so what I'll do is I'll open CloudFormation in another, in another tab, and I'll switch to another region. Let me refresh this and see if it is complete. So the create is complete. If we should go to code pipeline, after a few minutes, it should also tell me it's succeeded. So you can see it has succeeded, right? So it means that anytime I push any new change, the creation of the stack or the update of the stack will be done automatically instead of normally clicking the stack name and then going to update and then choosing whether we want to use the current stack, the current template, or we want to use a new template to update the stack. Get it? Right? The code pipeline is able to automate that task for us. So I'm in CloudFormation. I'll open US West. So let me go back to the US East. Let me look at the output. Okay, so let me copy this and then go to resources. I want to see the EC2 instance. All right, so there was an instance that was created. That's what is hosting the web app. I want to see if it has passed 2 out of 2 checks, right? Then we'll open the website in another tab. Stacks. Okay, the stack is not yet in. Hey, let me go and check the command because it should specify a region, right? Oh, I copied that validates command again. Right? CloudFormation. No. And I said I didn't copy it. Wait. Let me see here. Okay, so it was a validation command that I CloudFormation create stack US. Okay, so it was the validation command that I copied again. All right, forgive me for that. Okay, so let me paste that. Okay, so you can see it gives me a stack ID. So let me go back here. Yeah, and if I should refresh, I should have the second stack. Correct. All right, so if I should go to events, okay, so it's being created. Let me go to the instances. Okay, this one has also passed 2 out of 2 checks. Now, if you look at the output here, right? This is the public web, the public IP address of the EC2 instance. This is EC2 instance. So you can see the same thing here, 18.20.9.165.86. 18.20.9.165.86. So whichever one we want to copy. So this is for the S3 bucket. I'll open another tab, paste here, and then do /cafe. And we should have the cafe website. And you can see the availability zone is US East 1A. All right. The one in the Oregon region, let me see if it is also complete. It should be complete by now. All right, so the creation is also complete. So we have a network layer now in the US East Oregon region. Let's go and look at this one. Since the first one, we didn't look at it. This is the internet gateway. I want the VPC itself. All right, so whilst this is opening, let's go back to our instructions. So now we will have to, okay, so we've changed to US West Oregon, right? So now we have to go and create, as I said, when we're starting this, that the Cafe Oregon keeper doesn't exist. And remember that the Cafe app stack says that if the resource is being deployed in US West, it should use the Cafe Oregon keeper. So we first have to create the Cafe Oregon keeper before we create the Cafe app stack in the US West Oregon. Okay, so I think so we are done with the EC2. So I think I can change region to US West Oregon here. Let me close this console. We are also done with the pipeline thing. Okay, so Oregon, so you can see the Cafe VPC has been created here. All right. So we are in US, so you can see currently we don't have any EC2 instance running. Even if I close this, we don't have any instance at all. So under network and security, you will come to keepers. So this is another way to create your keeper. So you can't only create your keeper when you are launching an instance. You can actually create a keeper here and then you use it, right? So the keeper name is Cafe Oregon. So I'll just come and copy this. Am I here? Paste, I'll use RSA and I'll use .pem. So you can choose to use PPK if you use PuTTY, right? So the key is created, so we can now go ahead and I will not save it because I will not need it. I'm not going to connect to the EC2 instance. So they said we should revisit the cafe app.yaml, all those things. We have already seen it, right? So we know that it is going to use the Cafe Oregon keeper as far as it's going to be launched in the US West too. Okay, and another thing too, since this time we are going to use the CloudFormation UI in the management console to create, then we have the liberty to select the type of EC2 instance that we want. I mean, the instance type, yes, that we want. Okay, so that's what we are going to do here. So first, we are going to copy the Cafe app YAML into an S3 bucket. All right, and the S3 bucket has a name. It has a repo bucket in its name. So first, let me copy this, paste it in the text editor here. Okay, and so it means I'll have to navigate to S3 again. So for S3, it doesn't matter the region that we are in, right? So currently I'm in US West, but I will be able to see all my buckets because S3 is global. So this is the bucket but it will now let me know that these buckets are in the US East region, right? But still I'll be able to, so it's this bucket that we want, the one that has repo bucket in it. So I'll copy the name. And if your click and drag game is not perfect, you can just open the bucket, right? And then you can have the full name here. and now copy it from here. Okay. So we'll click and drag him in here. Use this method. So paste. Right. Okay. So I'll select this and we copy that and paste. So what I'm saying is that copy the cafe app.yaml and then put it in the S3 bucket. Okay. So if I press enter, the user does not exist. Okay. Since I'm in the templates, there is no need to add this. Okay. I'm already in the templates directory. So there's no need to add it. So I can just clean this. Okay. And then it will work. Or I will do a CD and then go back to the CF templates directory. Please, I hope this one is well understood. Turn on your mic when and talk. Right. I hope this one is understood. This is just this file management. Right. Correct. This is file management. So I can just remove the template, the directory name, and then go ahead, or I can just do a CD and then go back to the CF templates directory and then now add the templates name and then what have you. Okay, so I can now press enter. Oh, network. Enter. Hey. Ah. Okay. All right. So now if I should go to S3 and then refresh this bucket, I should have the cafe app.yaml file in there. So the next thing left for us to do is to create a stack using the file or the template in the S3 bucket. Okay. But we have to take note of this thing. So the stack name, will enter a name that we want, and then the instance type parameter should be a T3 micro. Okay. And I think that will be that for it. Yes. And one on answer. Okay. So I'll go to CloudFormation that is in the Oregon region. And for stack, let me close this. So I'll create a stack with new resources. So usually we were in the guided lab, we uploaded a template from a file. But this time we are using S3. Okay, so we'll go to S3. I'll open the YAML objects and then I'll copy the object URL. Okay, and then come back here, paste the object URL here. All right, go to next. So I'll just give it cafe app Oregon. And then the parameters, we are using a T3 micro, right? Yes, T3 micro, correct. So that is it. So you can see here, the default was what? T2. Was T2 small, right? Yeah. And then we have to, we had the chance to change it. So you can see here, it says enter T2 micro, T2 small. And this one is in the template. Where is it? Cafe app is here. This is it, right? So allowed values, you are able to select, and then the description is saying enter T2 micro, T2, and then default is this. That's the same thing written here. Right? That's the same thing written here. So next, I'll leave everything as it is. Next, and submit. So this one is in progress. So while this is in progress, let's go and answer the questions. All right. So details, show, access multiple choice questions. Please turn on your mic. The questions, we are answering them together. So question 1, was an S3 bucket created? even if you did not specify a name for the buckets, right? If so, what name was it given? So there is no bucket was created. Yes, it was given a name in the format logical ID, stack name, some random numbers, and then stack name, logical ID of resource in template, and then some random numbers, and then
Be the
logical.
one.
Which one?
The third one. The third one.
Any other?
You see? Nah,
No,
like the stack name, logical ID.
yeah. Oh yes, yes. I get it. But I'm just asking if there is any other person.
Ah.
Okay. Let me mention names.
I can wait.
Prince, you know go talk. Or he bed. Prince, if you know talk we start the do a before come on, you can't talk woman matter. I go come out you for the meeting inside.
Oh, tell her how you know. It's just the way a woman is going to it. Oh, that's the truth, baby.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the third one, right? I mentioned it earlier. So the stack name, the logical ID, we can go and then even confirm it. Buckets. So this is it. So the stack name, the create bucket stack. Any, okay. And then the logical ID, that's the S3 bucket. We'll see it in the YAML template and then some random numbers, correct? So let me submit this one. Go back. Question 2, what region was the bucket created in and why was it created in this region? So it says it was created in US East 1 AWS region because that is always the default region for every AWS CLI client, unless you specify a different AWS region when running the command. And then 2, it was created in the AWS region in which the CloudFormation create stack command was run. It was created in no, it was not in East 2, and it was also not in West 2. So these ones are out. We are left with the 2. Which one? Please, those of you who won't talk, you there send message. Why? All right, so this is the second one. So it was created in the region where we run the CloudFormation create stack. Okay, that was it. And then for the S3, I said it was just two lines after the resource, right? In the resources section, it was just two lines of code for creating the S3 bucket. Don't be when you are using the template, don't be don't be moved by the fact that all those ones were is ready-made. This is a ready-made template, right? If you are following the step-by-step, the instruction step-by-step, you have only 2 lines of code as at then. And then the parameters tab of the update cafe stack. What do you see for the latest AMI ID? This one is not even a no-brainer, but you can go there, cafe app parameters, and then the image ID is what this is /gp2. So hey, I didn't submit this one. Let me submit this. Back, submit this. Back, and then GP2, this one. And submit. Go to the stack info tab of the update cafe app stack. What's the resource and an ARN name? Okay. So update cafe.
As they give me both say I do what?
you don't come talk, you don't go
They do
talk.
call. And they do call, now they do.
Is that we should go where? Stack info. Okay, so CloudFormation and then stack info. Yeah, so the IAM role is what? Custom CFN role, right? Let me submit this one first. I'm just hoping I've submitted all of them. And then, so this one, custom CFN role, submit, right? And then 5, in the AWS management console, go to the code commit repository, blah, 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 and then choose commit. In the commit list, open one of the commit by choosing its commit ID. What do you observe? Okay, I'll close the code commit. So, okay. Let me see the other one. Okay, this one is complete. So let me open the instances so that we'll copy the address, right? Public IP address. So I'll copy this one. I'll open a new tab. Paste this /cafe. So you should open the cafe website. If it doesn't open, whoever's login I'm using, the house switches are part. Okay. So it is US West 2A, right? It means we have successfully launched our cafe website, both static and then dynamically across 2 AWS regions using infrastructure as code. So let me go to code commit to answer our question. Submit this one. Oh, I'm in Oregon, US East, North Virginia. All right, so let me just also say this. When you face some of these errors, right? Just take your time. Take your time and then relax. Don't panic. Don't panic. You have not broken anything, right? Just relax and then try and then look at everything one after the other. You will see where the mistake is, right? Yes, you might think that you've gone through every process just as you should, but there might be something that you are getting wrong, right? So just take your time, look at it one after the other. So I click on the repo and then I'll go to commits. Said I should select just one, any of them. And let me select this one. So here we see details, right? Details including the user, the authored date, the person who committed it. And then when I scroll down, oh, this one is not opening. So all this in green shows the changes that was made, right, to it, and then how many lines that was made. Timibaha is here, details including what lines, which files were changed as part of the commit, and then blah, blah, blah. Yeah, submit. Okay. So if I come here, and then now everything is here.
Make you no submit them all. From the person go do them all the way.
God man.
Why you be hater? Why you be hater like that?
Oh no, I be the assistant.
Somebody send you. Somebody send you. Who
Oh
send
no.
you?
Not assistant the thing, not in the complaint.
It no be your.
How you go fit
It
one
no be
again?
your problem. It's your problem.
Oh no, you know be the person. You know be that one. He log his no work.
Oh, I thought this one be who you?
This will be God man you own.
Oh, okay. Like I said, principal, I'll go report. I'm not gonna report give Alex. I'll go report for some technology center.
That will be Louis you own.
Submit them, no.
Make us submit give out. By this time
I
you
for launch the terminal. Launch the terminal first.
Yeah.
God don't it never to redo them. This one.
Is
the
this
only day-
submit? Is this submit?
I'm gonna give one Christmas break gift to that.
God man, you better. I'm sorry, no, what say?
He laugh. He
He laugh.
For the chat.
laugh for the comments.
You're the thing for chop error. Some error be for pop up.
Oh, Charlie, your head wrong.
My head not true. Charlie, I don't envy you. Me now they can't do more to sit. I know I can carry my cousin.
Get out there.
So let's first check the submission. Oh, it's not yet complete. It is slow, Papa. So there is another thing. The grades, some 3 marks be there is some 3 marks be that one. It is not in the grading item. It is grade behind us. So you go fit check your grades, and then you have 27, but you have all the graded, like the possible graded items correct. So you have one,
Read
and then
it.
three,
That's
and
it.
yeah,
That's what I did tell you last time. I don't know what's
uh-huh,
the problem.
and then the 333. It be the so for this one, it grades the instance type for the second region. You know, we're supposed to choose T3 micro. But anywhere is not in the grade items here. On the anyhow. So this one it marks the app, the region 1 app, the EC2, the app pipeline. If the app pipeline is correct, the VPC, the network pipeline, if it's also successfully deployed, the S3 website itself, the S3 stack, and then the questions. But if you go to the submission reporter, you will see for here. So these are the things that, apart from the correct answers, task 1, task 2, task 3. This one. So region 2 instance type is T3 micro. Wait. So if it was T2, if it is T2 small, oh God man, make I go change them to T2 small. Then we go submit C. We will say the 3 marks will go, and then it will now become 27. But this one is not part of the graded items. Afa my God man cry.
They grade am 30-30, so we will leave am.
Like the multiple choice for make it solve up. You know,
Oh, but
man, you know go submit.
there was no question that one there no be problem. Go fix am.
What be Richard in problem?
Okay.
Why somebody in the go on the thing? I don't understand. You be a yellow flower, but
Right. So guys, just a wrap up, huh? So I hope all of you here understands what I explained so far. So it means that when you start the lab, first you can just upload all the 3 files, right? The S3, the network, and then the cafe app. Okay. And then you, for the S3, the commands that you will run is just after you upload, you run this and then run this. Okay. And you now come down here, come and run all these commands, and then you are done for S3. This one shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes to do. But you have to make sure that you are substituting the correct bucket name for this, for what you have here. Bucket name. Okay. The next thing is to clone so for you will not need all these. But maybe you would want to validate the template, but we have that validated it, so you know that it works, unless you do any change to the template. So this template that I'll give, you don't need to change anything. Okay. And let me just open my Google Drive and then put them there as I'm explaining. So the next thing is to where we are. You can choose to validate the template, as I said. All right. And then you are done here. This one, you don't need it. And then you web to here. So first you go and then duplicate the repo. Sorry, you clone the repo. So you can decide not to even switch directory here. But if you don't switch directory, as I said, anytime you copy the commands that goes like CFT template something, you will have to come and add the static directory. Okay, so best thing to do, just CD back to your environment so that all the commands that you copy and paste, you will not have any wahala with it, right? So immediately you clone it and you upload so first just do it as I did. First upload the cafe network file. You do your git add, git commit, and then the git push. When it is done, you come and then upload your cafe app. The same thing. You do your git add, your git push. So your git add, your git commit, and then your git push. You are done. And then you go to duplicating the stuff to an S3 bucket, right? To another region. So first you copy the command to run the. So this is done. So you copy the HTTPS jahina YAW. Okay. So the network layer, no. Or you do all with the git add. Yeah, this one. So make sure for your initial commit for the network app, right? You use this one and then you use this comment. It doesn't mark the comments though, but for you to feel like okay, you are going according to it, you know. Right. This one is troubleshooting in case you don't get the result that we've got. All this you don't need it. It's already in the template already. And then now the cafe one. So you also put it into the template folder. Then you do your git add, your git commit, you are done, right? You don't need to copy them again. All is done for you in the template, right? There's no need to validate. We have validated it, so we know it works. And I'm not going to do any changes to it actually. So yeah, you'll be okay, right? So when you are done, so as I said, just skip it. When you finish, you go and answer your questions and then you submit all at once. See, so it's just about uploading, git add, git commit, git push, upload, git add, git commit, git push for the two cafe layers. The only thing, the first one is the one that you are going to run the stack. You are going to use the create stack command to run it. So here you duplicate it. You use this command, right? First to run the network file, and then now come and use this command to copy this into the repo bucket. You make sure you replace this name with the repo bucket name. And then that is it, right? Sorry, and then you go to your CloudFormation console, and then you do a create stack with new resources. Be sure you have selected the T3 micro. You submit. Once it is done, you should have your websites opened, and then you'll be done with it, right? So that brings us to the end of this session.